there is some breaking news and finally some clarity on the situation. I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. This is according to Pete Thamel and ESPN. Jake Retzlaff, the BYU starting quarterback, plans to transfer from the school and has begun informing the staff and the players of his plan to leave. As we all know, he's been facing an honor code suspension tied to a civil suit that alleges he raped a woman, but no need to go further information than that. Y'all can read about it. The case. It's just a sad situation. That's all I gotta say. And I'm going to just go over the numbers here, what he did last year. 213 completions out of 368 attempts for 2,947 yards. With 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He was actually the second leading rusher on the team last year. 100 rushing attempts for 417 yards with 6 touchdowns. So that's already a loss right there, but it's off the field. And I'm going to just go over the schedule while I have it in front of me. But the next guy potentially to be a starting quarterback is a step down from Jake Retzlaff. That's just my opinion. So the first 2 games, Portland State at home, August 30th. Stanford at home, September 6th. First bye week. September 20th, you got East Carolina on the road. That is a trap game when I see one. On the road to Colorado the following week, September 27th, October 3rd. West Virginia at home, that becomes more gettable now for West Virginia, though it's a long way to travel. On the road to Arizona, October 11th. I think Arizona might be a little bit better this year, so maybe they'll sneak up and beat them, but I don't know. Then there's obviously your rival in Utah. You get them at home this year, October 18th, but you never know how rivalry games go. Then you got to go on the road to Iowa State, October 25th. That was already going to be a hard game anyway. Same thing goes for Texas Tech on the road on November 8th after your second bye week. Then you got TCU at home, November 15th. And you got to go on the road to Cincinnati, November 22nd. That is more, I think that might be a losable game. And Cincinnati does need to improve to get to a bowl game for Satterfield's sake. And you get UCF at home, November 29th. So, and the over-under, by the way, on the win total is 7.5. Just so y'all know, I'm not saying take the over or take the under. It's just just giving you the numbers right here. And I know that BYU did get a transfer from Stanford that just enrolled in Bear Bachmeier, but he's not used to the scheme. And this is like a last minute situation, and this has been going on since May. And I ain't gonna admit, prior to that stuff coming out, I had him at 11-1 or 10-2 at best, 7-5 at worst. I'm changing that entirely to 9-3 or 8-4, and 9-3 is even pushing it for me. And obviously 5-7, 6-6 at worst. Though 4-8, you never know. And there's no Big 12 media poll this year, as we all know. And they do have a transfer from Western Michigan, but he didn't play last year. Last time he played was 2023. And Trayson Bourguet, Bourguet, 57 completions out of 103 attempts, with 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, and 36 rushing attempts for 65 yards. And there's McKay Hillstead. That's a transfer from Utah State, but last time he played was in 2023. 94 completions out of 158 attempts for 1,062 yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 44 rushing attempts for 36 yards. So either way, it's going to be a step down at quarterback, no matter who they go and all this. And it had to happen after all the stuff coming out had to happen after spring ball, and that's a big bummer of the situation. But all I can say is Jake Retzlaff put himself in that situation, and he shouldn't have. That's simply put. You can't when you go to a school like BYU, you can't do certain stuff. He shouldn't have known better. But that's just me, and hopefully he learns his lesson. Hopefully he does. And we'll have to wait and see how BYU responds. I'm not going to say they're definitely not losing that first game, or no way. Stanford, I wouldn't think so, because look at the roster turnover. And they fired Troy Taylor in the middle of spring. But you get the whole point. They will take a step back this year now. And I don't think they'll win the Big 12 or even make to the title game now because of this news. I don't. But this is the Big 12. Anything could happen. So anyways, if you like this content, like, subscribe, and see you guys later on the road. 800 subscribers, scores ultimate goal, 1,000 more. So remind us, scores like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. Some more people see us. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well. And they did surprise last year. Got to keep that in mind. Now, a lot was expected from them a year ago, and they surprised. And we're 7-2 in the conference, 11-2 overall, with a bowl game win over Colorado in dominant fashion, I would add. So you never know. Maybe they'll surprise us again. But I don't know. I don't think they would. Not this year. The schedule is a little bit tougher in the Big 12. In the back half. And it's not mentioning that game against East Carolina is a trap game when I see one.